guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Natalie and today we are not at THECHEATERY, but if you are following me on Instagram, you guys might know that I have been bikini prepping for my second bikini show. So today this video is going to be about 5 tips. That's 10. 5 things I wish I would have done differently during my first bikini prep. And if I keep looking over there, that's because I have my 5 points written on, so don't mind me. I'm trying this new thing, so I hope you guys stick it out with me. Without further ado, as always, let's get to it. So the first thing that I want to talk about is not being super food focused. When you get to a certain point during prep, with long weeks of deprivation of high calorie foods, especially sweets and junk food, you are going to come to a point where you start to crave them a lot. And if you have some dieting experiences, I'm sure you'll know, but it's really easy for you to get carried away obsessing over what you cannot have. So for example, I did not even have a sweet tooth before doing my first show, and I'm more of a savory type of gal who can probably finish a bag of chips in one sitting. I'm sure you guys, if you guys been following me, my channel is based off of mukbangs, which I eat. I have a large appetite, so that is not anything new if you guys know me. I developed like a crazy sweet tooth out of nowhere. That was my mom. So for me, I started out pretty mellow. I would just, casually scroll through IG food feed or watch mukbangs on YouTube's of food that I would crave. And it got really bad to a point where I would start obsessing over junk food or sweets that I could not have during prep. So it got to a point where I, would not be able to sleep at night because I would be watching millions of videos after videos of mukbangs or like scrolling through IG food feed, looking at all the sweets and junk food that I couldn't have, and it just got really unhealthy. And you get to that point where you just, once you start to focus on something and you start obsessing over food and you become food focused, you can really dig yourself deeper and deeper into that hole. And especially when you're in that deprivation mode, it can really get to you. It sounds crazy, but it just puts you in that mental state. And if you don't purposely readjust your thoughts or readjust your focus, a huge difference during this prep that I've made is intentionally adjusting my focus whenever I got to that moment or where I kind of caught myself being food focused and wanting to obsess over food, like just sitting there thinking about how they're gonna taste or how much I'm gonna have them after the show. Like, whenever I started to have those kind of moments, I purposely would readjust my mind and kind of take that focus away where I wouldn't, dig deeper and get stuck in that hole or develop that kind of food focused mindset. I mean, not gonna lie, I still do scroll through some accounts from time to time. Right now, I think my favorite account to look at is PDX Cookie Companies. And if you guys don't know who they are, you guys need to go follow them now. They're like a custom cookie company. I've never had them before. I just found them on IG. They customize cookie with any ingredients that you can possibly think of. Literally anything. Like they would put animal cookies, peanut butter, chocolates, white chocolate chips. Take 5, I think that's what I saw in the morning. So, but even then, I would just casually look at them, just scroll through them like how I would with like a fashion content, I would say, but I wouldn't be sitting there like not being able to go to sleep and looking at it for a long time. I would just look at it, briefly look at it, and this is only when I come across this since I follow them, and just move on and put my focus on elsewhere. Learning how to readjust my mindset and my focus was such a game changer for me, which made, I feel like, this prep 10 times easier and 10 times less painful with less burdens for me to carry. Thing number 2, do not get carried away with what people say. And when I say that, I mean the good and the bad. This is kind of like an obvious one that you can probably apply in our everyday life, not just during prep. When you're in prep, especially if this is your very first show and you're committing to something serious like this for the very first time, people are going to have lots of opinions, let me tell you. And even if it's just like a line of comment that they drop casually, when you're in prep, it will affect you if they catch you in the wrong moment or the wrong day. I won't go too much into detail about the bad stuff that people say, because I feel like that's pretty obvious when someone's opinions are going to affect you in a negative way, whether it's because they say something discouraging or they don't seem supportive. You know, in life, you just have to brush off those opinions, since everyone got opinions, and even if they mean from a good place with good intentions, sometimes you just gotta accept that people have opinions and respect them and move on. I do want to talk about when people say the good part, the good stuff. And when I say that, I mean when people praise you or people compliment you during prep and people kind of hype you up. And I just want to touch upon that. This is something that I realized after going through prep, and some realization that I made after the fact. What I'm talking about is being caught up with the high or the compliments that people gave me during my first prep. So when it comes to progress, especially if you haven't necessarily been in shape or, you know, been conditioned your whole life, and you're kind of using competition as like a transformation journey, people will praise you. People will make you feel like you're ready for stage even when you're not. And this might sound kind of harsh, but it's just something that I've learned during my first prep. So especially if those people around you are not too familiar with the sport of bodybuilding, or they're not really aware of the fitness industry with the knowledge of, you know, being stage lean or being competition ready, since they don't have a good idea of what stage ready is or stage lean is, just a little bit of leanness or shedding off a couple pounds can seem like you're ready and good enough for stage. This really depends on the individual goals, so I want to be careful how I word things, but I found myself getting kind of comfortable or making myself feel like I was doing enough, even when there was probably a lot more room for improvements and a lot more room for me to push myself to the max. Especially when in those moments of wanting to give up, I think when prep gets really hard and like you're in those moments, we really don't have much, you're in the brink of giving up or, you know, not wanting to give that extra push. I think these comments can really harm you, where you can easily just resort to the mindset of, I've done enough, like I've made good progress, and you end up setting your standards way lower than you should, and fall back on those comments. Sometimes they are necessary, of course, when people are supporting you, when those people are being encouraging and, you know, praising you for your hard work, very necessary. I think we should all be thankful at all times to have those people in our lives. But if these comments start to hinder you from pushing yourself to the max and you just use them as a cushion, I think that's when it becomes a problem, where you kind of give yourself an option of not pushing yourself to the max that you want to. But again, I feel like this is depending on the personal goal that you have, and everyone has different goals, but it's something that I've realized that I'm being careful during my second prep. I'm trying to not get those comments to me, whether it's very great comments or whether it's, you know, not very supportive comments. You know your limit. You know in your mind that if you're pushing yourself to the absolute hardest or not. Knowing your goal and knowing yourself and knowing how much you should be pushing yourself, I think that's the most important part. Third thing, finding what works for you. Nowadays, there are so many videos out there and competitors sharing their prep journey, which I think it's amazing because I personally use them and watch them during my long hours of cardios, and it's something that really helps me get through those sessions, and some things that hypes me up, gets me motivated, and also I pick up a lot of tips and tricks that other seasoned competitors do during their prep. However, I feel feel like it's very easy for you to get caught up with what someone else is doing and kind of conforming to the typical routine of a bodybuilder, especially those really typical stigmatized one like overdosing on caffeine when it's not even necessary. Perhaps you're not keeping up with the intensity of your training session because you are supposedly fatigued, and you think that, you know, oftentimes people think that when you're in prep, you're fatigued. Prep equals fatigue. So I am tired. I don't have the proper energy to do my training. And I feel like I kind of had that mindset where I'm like, I have very low energy. I probably did. I mean, at a certain point of prep, you do have low energy, but I think since it was in my, like, stuck in my mind that prep equals low energy, that I wasn't pushing myself during my training session. I wasn't really giving it my max intensity during lifting, just because of how much my mind was messing with me, like how much, you know, my mom was telling me that I'm fatigued, I'm getting very low calories, I can't go up weights necessarily during my squats or whatnot, any compound movements. So just simply doing things that other people do because you see a whole lot of them doing it, like eating sugar-free Jell-O when you don't necessarily even like them. Well, I don't know if who would actually do that, but you get the point. Just don't jump on the bandwagon just because everyone else is doing it and you see these other bodybuilders doing it. I think finding out what works for you is the most important thing, and making that prep customized for you is the best thing you can do to prepare yourself. And number 4, I feel like this has been making a huge difference in my mindset, is have a post-show plan. I know by the time you end your show, you're gonna be super confident and motivated that you'll continuously work out, do your cardio, and stick to a plan if you're that determined. But newsflash, it ain't gonna be that easy. Even with your newfound motivation and work ethic that you developed, without a concrete goal, it's really difficult for an average person to keep that kind of intensity up and momentum going, even the mindset. So setting up a plan of proper reverse diet is, you know, not only to recover your metabolism that's likely been lowered or damaged after long-term dieting, but I think it's also a way of having a goal. For example, I already have set up my post-show reverse plan with a coach that I've been wanting to work with for a while. I reach out to her weeks in advance and kind of develop the mindset that show is not the end-all be-all, but a continuous journey for me. And I also planned a lot of different activities in advance following after the show. So just keeping in mind that life does not come to a halt because you're on a prep journey. It's more about integrating prep into your life rather than halting everything for the show day. And last but not least, get yourself super excited for show day. Everyone gets, you know, excited about different part of the prep journey or, you know, the show. But I think it's really easy for everyone to kind of lose sight of enjoying show day, since you spend all those long weeks dieting and, you know, kind of suffering leading up to the big day that you're kind of worn out by the time you get there. And granted, it's more about the journey, I understand, but I think it's really crucial that you kind of get giddy about show day and the show. Enjoy getting pampered, make appointments for your nails, hair, makeup, tanning, etc., and enjoy every moment of those appointments. I'm excited about which color suit you're gonna wear. And I like to do this whenever I get worn out from training and I, you know, reach those moments during prep. I kind of use this excitement to repump myself. So whenever I find myself getting worn out, find myself getting bored, or, you know, if you're stuck in that routine of doing long cardios, training, meal prepping, blah, blah, blah. Life does get kind of repetitive and somewhat boring. I get bored very easily, and I think that's the hardest part for me about prep. So when I find myself in those moments, you know, me getting myself excited for show day, like the little details about, you know, the suit color, the makeup, the look that I'm gonna bring to stage. It kind of reminds me to have fun with this journey and, you know, make it lighthearted almost. I personally love getting glammed up, and that's, I think, one of my favorite thing about competition. You know, you work so hard leading up to this point. You're gonna look amazing on stage. Enjoy being girly and getting glammed up, whether you're a girly person or not. Enjoy it as much as you can. This is almost like your wedding day. Enjoy it. It can get stressful. I mean, there's a million different ways to go through show day and leading up to show day, but you know, just like your wedding, people tell you it's gonna be so damn stressful, but hopefully it's gonna be a once in a lifetime thing. Don't we all kind of aim for that? But yeah, it's kind of like your wedding. You have to remember to have fun and enjoy the day, because at the end of the day, you did everything that you could do leading up to the point, and the most important thing is for you to have fun, get excited, and just, yeah, enjoy your day and be damn proud of yourself, because you made it, girl. You made it, or boy. So I hope you guys enjoy these 5 things that I wish I could have done differently. They're a little more personal, and of course this is more geared towards people who are doing their show for the first time, who are not necessarily elite level athletes. If you guys have any more ideas, or if you guys want to learn more about bikini shows or bikini prep, please leave comments down below. I would love to talk to you guys more about them. Thank you, and hope you guys enjoyed.